everybody, welcome back to my channel, which is increasingly becoming just a video of fur. Fatty and I are here today to once again make a video about online dating. This is more of a summary. I want to get past the bitter, angry, frustrated, desperate days of online dating and just kind of put it to rest. As a single person, people think that they have the solution for how you should meet somebody. And pieces of advice that I often get is like, well, have you tried other sites? So I'm here to go through my history of online dating, which is like insane because I've been doing it since for 16 years. So we're going to do a deep dive today. Starting off with Lavalife. So these are like the PC days. This is like when you were texting on a, what was it called? A T9 keyboard and stuff like that. So smartphones don't even exist yet. So we are doing like PC stuff. Lavalife, I remember, had like a lot of like kind of like messenger, like MSN Messenger type chats. So that was a thing, because I remember being really annoyed when you're just on the site and you're getting like all these chats pop up. This was a website where, if anybody is as old as I am, you will remember that it had 3 sections. Like there was like a dating section for like chill fun, and then there was like a relationship section for seriousness, and then there was like the adult section for like, whoa, you know, all your crazy non-status quo sexual stuff. And I remember it being like, the person you're talking to on the relationship site, are they on the adult site? Like there was a lot of mystery surrounding it. But there wasn't a lot of weirdness, I have to say. Like that time period when I was 25 years old and this was the advent of online dating, there wasn't a ton of weirdness. People were composing messages articulately. They were holding conversations. They were interesting. You felt like you were interacting with actual human beings. There really wasn't this era of dick pics to come. So that was Lavalife. I mean, I did meet a lot of people from it. One of them turned into a relationship-y sort of relationship. But at that point, like, it was just new and I was just exploring. So that's Lavalife. Let's take it back to Friendster. That's on my list. I kind of have to say that Friendster is like my favorite of everything. Like, it wasn't intended to be a dating site. It was like it was the precursor to MySpace, where you're having friend lists and stuff like that, and your friends could write you testimonials. But it was used for dating a little bit, and it was cool because you really would meet people that were in your circle, like your extended circle, due to like friends in common and interests in common and stuff like that. There was people I met on there that I would bump into going out to like Sneaky D's or whatever. And I don't think I ever actually had like a bad experience on it. I met a handful of people, and these are like the good old days when there was a lot more respect. Like, you just were legit going out to meet somebody and get to know what they were all about. There was no sexual undertones at all. It was just people meeting people because it's like, hey, I saw that you have this person in common, or oh my god, you're in this band that my friend loves, or whatever it was. So it was actually like a really cool networking tool. And to this day, I actually have 2 people that I'm still in contact with that I met on Friendster. One of them is a really good friend, and sometimes we get together and we talk about Proust. So it was a nice vehicle to meet genuine people. So when I was younger, I was also trying to find somebody Catholic. that has changed. What I am looking for is somebody with character and morals and is aligned on that journey with me to be a better person, an always evolving person. And they don't necessarily have to be Catholic. And part of why I'm saying this is because of the immersion I had dating Catholic people. And I did join the site Catholic Match, and there's another one at that time called Ave Maria Singles. Like, I can't. And I found with that, there legit was a lot of very spiritual, interesting, intellectual, kind-hearted, lovely people. And those were the days of like emailing too. So there was a couple guys that I corresponded with that would just be sending like long emails. This is sort of before we realized that that's false intimacy, and that is more of a vehicle for projecting your desires onto somebody. So you really can be emailing somebody and feeling a connection. And what I've learned is you meet up and you're like, I hate you, like instantly. There are some things that done in the confessional style email really don't show you anything about the person. If anybody has ever met an author they loved and been disappointed, it's slightly like that phenomenon. So with Catholic Match, there was, that more of that drawn out email style fake intimacy. And I just sort of realized, like, I am too free thinking. I've always been in a tough position because I really don't subscribe to a lot of the modern day values, but I also don't fit into the Catholic paradigm either. I'm kind of a nomad, just kind of wandering around trying to find my tribe. And I found that a lot of the people on Catholic Match, even though they're quality, they really found me too free thinking, too artsy. Whereas I, to be quite honest, find myself, I honestly kind of found myself a little bit more following the teachings of Jesus than they were. So I did find the kind of cliche sexism or hyper morality, judging any weakness you have, judging other people if they don't fall in line with sort of like Catholic values and stuff like that, which to me goes against the spirit of Christianity. We're all humans, we all have weakness, and I think we're here to lift each other up and help each other on this journey. And I think suppressing your weaknesses makes them come out hardcore later. So I just want it, but then, the people, anyways, so there's that. That's Catholic Match. What I did like about Catholic Match, though, like, it was refreshing to have guys that weren't, like, lusting after you, that really saw you as a human being. And that is an experience that I do not really have online dating now, and that's one of the reasons that I don't do it anymore, is that I feel like people go online dating and look at women as commodities. Not everybody. I mean, my brother actually got married to somebody that he met online, but maybe, I don't know, maybe I just have sort of psychological wounds that attract these, who knows, but it hasn't really been that successful for me. Anyways, moving on. There's also Plenty of Fish that was, again, on the website. That was just like sifting through so much, like, WTF. I just remember, like, it was just too exhausting. It reminds me of, like, when I go through my closet and, like, have accumulated so much stuff and I have to go through all of it and, like, get rid of things. And it just, sorry, that's a horrible way to describe people who are, like, genuinely, like, online. But it was just a free-for-all. That's how I remember it. Like, just getting a ton of messages and, like just starting to almost like feel like a reality distortion field where it's like I don't even know how to judge any of this and sort through any of this. So I just, yeah, I remember Plenty of Fish being fairly overwhelming with like very little interesting things that I wanted to pursue. So that was that. Then there's also like the niche ones that I tried. Like I tried Geek to Geek, because I'm a nerd, as you can see behind, and that just, there really just like wasn't much going on there, not many people on that site, so I don't remember it being very fruitful. I hope I'm not coming across as like this totally super picky person. I think there are just sort of like some problems with the medium for me. It doesn't quite work. I'm just much more a fan of meeting people in person, or if I am somebody talking to somebody online, they kind of, I find it works if they spark my interest and we meet fairly shortly after. Having kind of like boring conversations or drawn out conversations or whatever, it just sort of is in this realm of unreality. So when you're on a site like Plenty of Fish or Bumble or Tinder where there's just like so much coming at you, I find it a little bit harder to sort through, and I find there's just like a lot of negativity coming at me, like a lot of thirstiness, a lot of desperation, a lot of disrespect, that it just it kind of fills my brain up, and I lose a little bit of an ability to focus, if that makes any sense. I do prefer meeting somebody in real life, and establishing something a little bit more genuine. Everything else just, it feels like that's like a lot of serial dating going on and things that aren't that serious, and guys that are in relationships trying to have affairs, or guys that are looking for like a lust-based thing. So it feels like a lot. So I do tend to get off websites because there's just no connection. Like it's all fake. It's all in this realm of unreality. And it has kind of a reality distortion effect. The only thing I can kind of liken it to is like, you go to like Winners and you have to sort through like so much stuff, and it's such a task. And then like by the end of it, you're looking at shirts and you're like, do I even like this? And it's like, no, you don't like any of it. So I don't know. I feel like I need more of a clear mind. And I definitely have made Winners purchases that are like super questionable, like mesh overlaying shirts with like Chinese symbols on them and stuff like that. So it's just like, a lot of online dating is the equivalent to going to the Young and College Winners and like just exhausting yourself, and then weeks later looking in your Winners bag and being like, I don't know how to make choices. Like honestly, like I don't know how to choose things that are good for myself. And there is also like a psychological element to, I find, to online dating, where sometimes it just really feels like we're just interacting with each other's wounds, and traumas and stuff like that. Like there's just this anonymity, where, you know, I've been told off. People have just said the most outrageous, egregious, disrespectful things. And when you kind of stick up for yourself in a respectful way, you get backlash. And like, there's a lot of nastiness. Like it's like a Hieronymus Bosch painting of hell and all the craziness going on there. So sometimes it's just like too much to sort through, and your brain just like gets scrambled anyways. So sorry, I'm gonna be like interjecting this with my like little rants, mini rants. Sorry, I'm just looking at little Fatty here. She's so cute. Okay, so Geek to Geek, not much was going on. And then I went on this site. I don't remember what it was called, but it was for people who like reading, book lovers kind of thing. And there was like nobody on it. I think I only talked to like two dudes, and they were like 1,000 miles away. And one of them, like, just was a little bit stalker-ish, and like, if I didn't message back, he was like, "Hey, where'd you go?" Uh, and just like cussed me out for that. So it just, I don't know. I tend to leave websites when like it leaves just such a like bad taste in my mouth. And that one I just felt uncomfortable, and because of this one person had to get off. Plus, it was compounded with the fact that like there was just nobody on there. And then I went on a spiritual site as well, Spiritual Singles, and again the same thing. Like nobody was on it, and the people that were on it were like, you'd get like a message from Texas, or so it sounds like a great idea. Like, I'm spiritual, I love to read, so why not go on like a little niche site? But it just like it was just like tumbleweeds blowing through a ghost town. I went on eHarmony. Like at one point I was like, screw it. And this was like the eHarmony days where I don't know what it's like now, but this was like website eHarmony, where I think I paid like $250. They did nothing. Like I don't know what I paid for. I never got one single message. I maybe got matches or something. But I actually reached out to eHarmony, and I'm like, qu'est-ce que c'est? Nothing is going on, and I paid all this money. And the guy wrote back and said that his suggestion, I'm not even joking, was to change my preferences to say that I drink more. I think my preference is already a stretch. Like, I said, like, I drink once a week, which I actually don't. I probably have a drink once every 2 months. So I just felt that I had bottomed out, because I am on a site now for serious people looking for genuine connection, and I'm faced with this nonsense that I have to show that I drink more. So I just was like, I should have asked for my money back. Like, that was ridiculous. But I took that as a loss and moved on. But again, like, I know somebody who met their husband on eHarmony. So the psychological aspect does get tangled into this, whether or not like there's divine timing and it's not my time to meet somebody, or I have inner work to do, and because of the brokenness inside, I'm just attracting things that are speaking more to my weaknesses and my wounds than to a genuine sense of love and value for myself. So I'm like, what is this? So there's that. That's always sort of in the back of my mind. What are you attracting into your life, and why are you attracting this? And online dating does sometimes feel like you're trying to get a shortcut or give the universe a nudge, and it just doesn't work. Like, I have come to the point where I'm like, you know what? I just want to help make the world a better place. Like, I want to do something of substance and help people. There's so much injustice and suffering in the world, and what am I doing knackering about on dating websites? I don't even want to focus on that at all. I want to focus on doing something to make the world better, and doing something to help the planet and help people and help animals. There's something about the whole thing that just feels self-involved and shallow to me at this point. But that's my journey. Whatever, don't judge. So now we're getting into slightly more modern times with Tinder. So Tinder is like the first swipe app that I had ever used, and it was gross. So it was fun though to see friends on there and kind of like make fun of them and stuff like that. because sometimes I'd see a friend on there and they'd have a different age than what I knew their real age was. But yeah, Tinder was just like a thirst trap. So it just, yeah, that was not for me. So then, you know, the antidote to Tinder was Bumble. Sorry, I'm like, got cat hair going on here. So I joined Bumble, and I mean, it was okay. I mean, I definitely went on I definitely went on more fun dates, more legitimate dates. Like I went to the ROM, or, you know, out for a coffee or out for a walk. So, I mean, like, those things happened, but it just, again, it's just like a lot of the nonsense you have to go through, the boring conversations, the ghosting, the creepiness, the thirstiness, the like being led on, the you know, on and on and on, which is such an energy drain. So yeah, I mean, I went off and on Bumble for, you know, here and there, and you know, you go on there and you're like, oh, there's so many interesting dudes that I would love to meet, like maybe, but it just never seems to work out. So yeah, there's that. And then I went through like the most desperate phase in my life, and I listened to a friend who went on Seeking Arrangements, and she's like, listen, I'm actually meeting guys who low-key want something like genuine, and they treat you so well, and there's so many like professional, intelligent, funny guys on there that like take you out, and I got seduced by the glamour of it. I mean, my weakness is I am a little bit shallow. I do like to get dressed up and go out and have a good time, but that's like one slice of my personality. But I got the mixture of like sadness and desperation, and I do find that desperation manifests itself in very quiet ways. I'm not saying I'm desperate, like I need to get married to somebody or I need to lock him down, but there's just inside, I don't have a sense of wholeness. So it's like, it's more of a spiritual desperation where I'm looking for genuine connection. I'm looking for a way out of my isolation. So that just kind of makes me make bad choices sometimes. So I joined this website and it was traumatizing. Like I don't even want to go into it, to be quite honest, but it showed me an underbelly of depravity that forever changed the way that I look at humans. It destroyed sort of like faith and trust in humanity. I don't know if I'll ever, honestly, all these experiences, like I don't know if I'll ever fully recover and be able to have like a trusting relationship. I just feel like I've seen too much, but that website definitely made me sad about the state of humanity. But it also, like, stuff like this too is like, I gotta work on myself. Like, this is crazy. Okay, so anyways, that was fun. Then I overheard somebody on the Go train talking about Hinge, and so I joined that, and that seemed more legit. Like, I definitely met more earnest, grown-up type people. But I just, yeah, Hinge is probably one of the better ones. Like I did find, I think I was on and off it for about a year, and you know, you might have some luck on it, but the people on it have changed a little bit, and I just feel like these sites start off like kind of okay, and then there's just like a lot of people that are thirsty that kind of like migrate over to it, and it just kind of ruins it. And I found it was like a base of people that like, I'm way too sort of like nerdy and artsy and creative for. So yeah, there's that. I mean, a lot to sort through. And then there's just like, okay, and then like OkCupid. I honestly, like, sometimes I think OkCupid is Plenty of Fish. Like, are they different? But okay, like that OkCupid was very similar to Plenty of Fish. Like, there's just like winner's experience at Young in College. I was also on Match.com, but I think I only stayed on that for like a week. And I think I was on Yahoo Singles. I kind of get those two mixed up as well. Like, it just, I can't really remember why I got off it quickly. I just remember it being hard to narrow down, from the people that lived like far away or the people that you had common interests. Like, I didn't find it a very searchable site, I think is what I'm trying to say here. But nothing that really like sticks in my brain. And then there's just like the sad sites that I lasted like 5 seconds on. I don't know why I joined the Facebook dating. I think I was on it for less than 1 day, but it was just like all of humanity, all of the underbelly of humanity messaging me. Like, it just had such a vibe of desperation plus boring. Like, nobody talked like a normal human being and tried to actually start a genuine conversation. I just got so many likes and messages, but it was all like, who are these people? It was really weird. I can't even quite explain it. Like, I felt like almost like I'd gone to some different universe where nobody was even remotely like functioning. I don't know. I'm being so mean right now, because these are all human beings. But like, holy cow, Facebook dating is like so weird. Oh, it's so weird. If you've been on it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I'm trying so hard I'm trying to be funny, but like, I'm probably just sounding mean. Anyways, then I joined this site called SpiritualFive, which was like just one of those, like, it felt like an international site, like where there's like maybe a lot of people on there if you're looking at global statistics, but there was like nobody in my area at all. Like, one guy from California was messaging me, which was just like, you're in California. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? And then I would just get these messages like, blessings from the great ancestors and chief priests. Like, I'm not saying I got one message like that. Like, I got several messages like that about like, I wish you blessings from your ancestors, which is like, thank you. That's really nice. I don't know. I didn't really know how to make heads or tails of that one. And then the last one I joined before I just was like, you know what? I have to just focus on like anything else. Was this website called Badu. I don't even know where I heard about it or how I got on it. But that thing is ridiculous. That site literally felt like I had entered a parallel universe. I did not feel like I was on this planet anymore. I don't know who these people are. I don't know. It almost felt like it was like all the rejects from Tinder who have been, kicked off for being too inappropriate and have joined this website. The amount of messages I received was staggering. And it was like all dudes who called me like sweetheart and dear and like, hey, beautiful. How's it going, dear? How's your day, dear? And like 90% of the people on there were the most boring conversationalists. They're literally the type of people that are like, hi, how was your day? Oh, okay. I'm making dinner. Like, okay, this is gonna be really mean, but like, it felt like they didn't know many words in English, like enough words in English to like carry on conversations or something. I know that's like a horrible, but that seems to be what was going on. And there was like a lot of disrespect. It's a very, very thirsty site. So I just wasn't interested in that. I do have to say, like, online dating has taught me a ton of stuff. It's taught me that when you're not feeling whole inside, online dating is not the answer. It taught me that desperation manifests itself in so many different ways. I used to get angry at the guys who said disrespectful things, but I don't know what their issue is. I don't know where they are on their journey, but I think it's not coming from a good place. I don't know if they've been programmed to view women in a disrespectful way and they have no idea they're doing that. I don't know if they have like father issues. I have no idea. But being surrounded by a whirlpool of garbage has forced me to go inwards, which you that's always the answer. Whether you're listening to Ram Dass or you're listening to Jesus, the answer is always to look internally and not to be looking for external things. So it really gave me an opportunity to seek my own value, because you're on these sites and you're treated like a commodity. You're not, and I'm not saying everybody, obviously, these are generalizations. These are just like drops of wisdom that I've learned. You are treated like an object. You're treated like somebody who has no dimension. And when you stick up for yourself, you just get yelled at. It's a very sad state that we're treating each other this way. And it also taught me that the answer to isolation is not sex. It's not attention. It's not all these superficial things. And I think people today, and I've dated people from so many different cultures, and this is something I see over and over again, people today have really divorced intimacy and love and sex. And sex on its own is definitely something that is not for me. I think that compounds, if you're feeling isolation, if you're feeling loneliness, if you're feeling desperation, sex is not the answer. Is just going to compound that. When you're in the spiritual desert, grasping for these sort of like sad, shallow ways to connect just makes it worse. And I found that, again, there's that reality distortion where this just sort of played with my head, and it still rolls around in there that like guys just want to have sex. They talk about sex clubs. They talk about other women they want to bang. They talk about people they fooled around with. They talk to you in a disrespectful way. And all of it, strangely, has made me appreciate my sexuality more, because it's something that God gave me, and it's something that is very precious, and it's something that is of high value. But when you divorce it from respect, or the person as a whole, or anything that is good and right. Sorry, I'm starting to sound like a preacher. It's so hard. I always feel like I have to dance around things because this is such a rebellious position to the rest of the world. But I have been reading a lot of Russell Brand lately, and he's like, he doesn't watch porn anymore. He doesn't have his like affairs and stuff. So I know I'm not alone in seeing that there is so many unhealthy ways that we use sexuality. and it dehumanizes us even more. So overall, I just, navigating the world of online dating, it was a bit too much for me personally, but I'm very, very grateful for all the lessons, because it has taught me to value myself more, to see myself more, to see like my motivations. Am I doing this to alleviate isolation? I have to walk in the spiritual desert. I don't know when my time will be over, and quite frankly, it can be super frustrating, and it can be very dark, but there's no shortcuts, and that seems to be the way it is. I do want to look for something just in life in general that is going to be more substantial and not shallow, and more connective, because our world is very broken and very lonely, and I'm just going to step away from that for a little bit while. But anyways, thank you for listening to me ramble on and on and on. Lots of love, and Fatty's gone, but I'm sure she sends her love too. All right, bye. Have a great day.